Welcome to Truck and Travel. I'm Cinnamon. Today we're going to go over the numbers for January 2021.
I know you're gonna dig this.
All right, guys. So for January 2021, we grossed to the truck $23,808.87. So for our portion, after you take the fuel surcharge away, because we don't have to pay for maintenance or fuel or any of that stuff, that goes to the fleet owner. So they get the fuel surcharge that is part of our rate. So after the fuel surcharge is taken away, we get 40% of that. And so that leaves us with $8,971.58, which is pretty darn good. And then to top it off, we actually made both bonuses. So we, for the carrier's bonus, we did have over 13 loads. We actually had 14 loads, and none of them were canceled loads either. So they were completed loads for the month. And we did get our fleet owner's bonus also. So the carrier bonus was $750, and then the fleet owner's bonus that they give us is $952.35. So when you add all those numbers together, with the bonuses, the total that we made was $10,673.93. So that is pretty darn good, especially for January. So just wanted to kind of compare that for any previous years that we have, which we did do this in January of 2020. So the numbers for 2020 for January, I said that backwards and weird, sorry. We grossed to the truck $17,014.11. And then after the fuel surcharge was taken out for our portion, what we got was $6,438.79, which that's still pretty good. For that, we actually only had, it was slower, and I'll go over kind of what happened with the different months to kind of understand the numbers a little bit better. For 2020, we actually only got 11 loads, so we didn't get the bonus. We didn't get either bonuses. We had 10 loads that were completed, and one of them was a canceled load. So we ended up with the $6,438.79. And so when you're comparing the 2 years together, the difference in gross is actually $6,794.76, which is huge. And after the fuel surcharge, if you are comparing what we took home, for bonuses and everything, the difference between the 2 years is $4,235.14. And even if you don't count the bonuses, if you're just looking at, the gross and say there wasn't any bonuses at all, we would still have made $2,532.79 more. So that's a huge difference between years and everything. I will say, for the bonus, not every fleet owner is going to give you a bonus. Our fleet owner is amazing, number one. And what they do, if you're in a C truck, you have to hit 20,000. And if you're in a D truck, you have to hit 22,000. Once you hit that number, you get 4% of whatever you gross. So that's even including the fuel surcharge. So since we did make $23,808.87 for January, we got 4% of that for the bonus. So that's how you got the $952.35. So, but not every fleet owner gives that bonus, and sometimes they don't even give the carrier bonus as well, or they'll give you just a portion of it. So it's all up to your fleet owner. So kind of talking about the difference between what happened with the different years, something that was very interesting was, I don't know why, but at the beginning of January for both years, we were sick. So I remember in January 2020, we dropped off on January 1st on, the holiday and everything. And the way that the pay period worked, it was until January 3rd or 4th, I believe. I actually don't have it written down on this paper. But we actually were able to take one more load, and it was a pickup and drop off the same day, which was January 3rd. But even weren't going to do that load because we were starting to like not feel the best. So then we took off, and we didn't take the next load until January 9th. So we took off an entire week, and rest, and we were both under the weather, like both of us were. Once I was starting to feel a bit better, then Derek wasn't feeling good, so we had to, since it's a team driving, that's the thing too, if one of you is off, that means both of you are off, unless they can still be in the truck, and if you could have enough hours to do all the work and all the driving and stuff too. But who wants to be sick when they're in the truck? If you can go home, then that's the best way to recover. And we're very blessed that we live in Ohio and we can do that. So for 2021, the last load that we had dropped off December 30th, and we didn't take another load until January 7th. And so that was during 2021. And the very interesting thing was that I knew I was sick. Derek did the same thing, but his didn't stick. We had watched this YouTube video about caffeine and what it does to your brain. Like basically you have these receptors that tell you that you're tired. And when you use caffeine, it creates more receptors it blocks those receptors. So your body can't tell your brain that you're tired. And so what your body does is it creates more receptors so that they can be like, hey, yes, we are going to get that message across, which is why you keep having more caffeine to block those more receptors that are, that your body creates. And so there's just a lot of different side effects for caffeine and stuff. And we drink Bang. We're not sponsored or anything. We should be with the amount of money we spend. But it has more caffeine than like Red Bull and stuff. And so we decided that if we were going to be home and we weren't feeling well, we would probably have caffeine withdrawal because we both are having a Bang a day. Plus we were having coffee. Not every single day, but for most days we were. So this year, 2021, January 3rd was the first day I didn't have coffee and or any caffeine. And so I actually quit, and I've had it here and there, but the entire month of January, I didn't have any. I don't think I had any until a couple months later. But anyways, I quit caffeine, and I definitely felt it. I felt, the headaches and everything like that, but I figured, hey, I'm already sick. I'm already going to be off work. Might as well get it done and over with. So, and I highly recommend it because I actually wake up and I'm not as groggy or anything. And then, I don't need the caffeine. I wake up naturally and stuff. And so it still takes a little bit of time in the morning, but that's a side note. But so anyways, for 2021, we didn't start off until January 7th, and, because we weren't feeling well. So once we were better, we were good. And we even had 2 loads that we picked up and dropped off in the same day. So that helped with our load count to get those 14 loads and to make sure that we definitely got that carrier bonus. So something I thought that would be very interesting is to see what states that we picked up and dropped off in. So this is in no particular order, but I kind of wanted to compare the 2 years. So in 2021, we were in Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. And so we were kind of just like right here. Well, I guess that'd be backwards, or I'm not sure. I can kind of see on the camera. And then for 2020, we ended up adding one more state that we were in, because we were in 10 different states during the whole month of January 2021, and then we were in 11 states in January of 2020, which we didn't do as good that month either. And so we were in Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, the state up north, Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, North Carolina, and Alabama. So there's definitely a difference in the different states that we were in. Some of them are the same and everything too. And I actually graduated college with a math degree. I love numbers and everything. And so I kind of did, it's not 100% accurate because it's not including when we would deadhead home, which we would include in, like, you know, some of the rates, or we would actually pay our owners, our fleet owners, the gas money in order to go home for the weekend. So we always, you know, discussed it with them and everything. But what I did was I went ahead and kept track of deadhead miles, which, if you're not new to that term, that is when you're moving empty, like when you're on the way to pick something up. So say you drop something off in Illinois and you're picking up in Indiana. The miles to get from Illinois to Indiana, those are your deadhead miles. And then running miles is when you're loaded. And then I did the total. So for 2020, the deadhead was 2,253. The running miles was 3,931. And the total was 6,184. So for 2021, deadhead was almost the same, 2,186. The running miles, though, was 7,602. And so the total was 9,788. So I didn't go ahead and figure out what the pay per mile was, because not all of the miles were included. Both of them were well over $2 a mile. Like, I think one was $2.75, one was $2.48 or something like that. So, you know, we got a good rate and everything, but we always make sure that we have it above a certain number that's between us and the fleet owners too. So for January for 2021, also the reason why we got more loads and stuff is because we busted our butts. we had different loads that we took. There was one where we were in Boston and then had to go to this place and then and then go back to the same place in Boston. And I actually, sometimes I don't know if it's because I'm a girl and sometimes people are nicer to girls if we're honest. But at this place that we were picking up in Boston, it was the same carrier that I work for, but it was a different branch of it. And the guy was awful and he made me cry. Like, it was so bad. So we left there and we went to the place, and when we went to go drop off, you'll have different situations in different places that you deliver to. And for this particular one, the guy at the gate, the guard, was telling me, oh no, they're closed. And I'm like, well, I need to drop this off and get it back to, you know. And he's like, and so you always want to try and have a contact name and stuff. So I gave him a contact name, and he's like, he doesn't even work here anymore. And so it was like almost an hour passed, and they found out, because lack of communication, there's so much lack of communication in a lot of different places. But they found out that the guy was there to, and he takes deliveries past, you know, the time that he was telling me that they weren't taking anything. Like, they were specifically there for what I was bringing because it was vital. So anyways, we squared it off, dropped it back off, but we did a lot of loads where, you know, when you added them together, it made sense, like the pay and everything like that. But I think at that point, since January is usually slower, especially with the holiday being, you know, New Year's Day and everything, and some places being closed, most places being closed, we were trying to get that load count up and everything like that. So I'm excited because, you know, since we got the bonuses and everything like that, that definitely, I don't know, it's something exciting, you know, to have. So, and I just wanted to make sure I am perfectly clear on this. You are not going to get the exact same numbers. There are so many different factors, you know, there's so many different types of loads, tons of things that happen. Sometimes you have to stay a day longer, like, you know, sometimes you can't get the same rate. Like, it's, there's so many factors that go into it. So you may make more than us, you may make less than us. So it all just depends too. You may not get sick, you know, like when we did, and was able to work the entire month. So you might have made a lot more, you know, so there's so many things that go into it, but we figured with these videos, we can kind of give you guys an idea just how we do and everything. So if you guys have any questions, drop them below. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and share with anybody who you might think is interested in this field and kind of is curious on, you know, just how, you know, how it all works, and, you know, I don't know, just share it with anybody if you'd like to. So thank you for joining us, and thanks for stopping by and watching. and commenting if you can. I'd love to hear from all of you guys, but you guys have a wonderful day and thank you so much for joining. Bye.